Hello everyone, welcome to this very special sort of one-off episode of Wholeness with Hannah. I am joined by a very special guest that you may remember from season 3 of the podcast, where we discussed everything energy. And in this episode, we are going to go a little bit deeper into the specifics of the gentle but so powerful modality that is Reiki. And I am joined by the beautiful Nieve Tierney. Hello, Nieve.
Hello, Hannah. So nice to be here. Second time in the chair with you.
So nice to have you back. And I also just want to shout out to us and say happy anniversary, because
happy 1 year.
Happy 1 year. So for all you listening, it was exactly 1 year ago today, so the 22nd of July 2024, that I met Nieve for the first time. And it was actually the day before we recorded the podcast, because we went for what I would call a chemistry coffee, which turned into 3 hours long. And she's back here now, so the first day went well.
I'm back. I stuck around.
Yeah,
1 year later.
What a year it's been.
What a year it's been. Wow.
So that's also sort of why we're doing this podcast, because so now Nieve is a dear friend, but she's also been my Reiki practitioner, my Reiki teacher, and my spiritual mentor, which has been so beautiful, and so much has happened in a year. Like, it's literally mind-blowing. So we wanted to get together to talk to you guys about Reiki, because both of us are Reiki masters now. We've had different journeys. Nieve has been doing it for a lot longer, and my journey's been very quick, but we thought it would actually be quite valuable to talk about our different journeys, how mine was quite quick and what's happened, and how radically different my life is from even a year ago, let alone 2-3 years ago. And me and Nieve have also had similar journeys in, you know, the way, maybe like healing journeys, but also Reiki and things like that. So we're just going to kind of demystify what Reiki is, because I get asked a lot, and I know Nieve gets asked all the time about what Reiki is, how it works. Do you have to be carrying a crystal ball in robes to feel the benefits? And absolutely not. So we want to talk about how beautiful it is, how much it's helped us, how much it helps the people that we work with, and kind of, demystify things. So should we get going?
Absolutely. And I think it's also an opportunity for you, Hannah, to see how far you've come in such a short year. And it's been such an honor and a privilege to not only be part of your journey, but also to witness how you have approached your personal healing journey, how you have then applied that to your career. And it takes a lot of bravery to walk this path, and it takes a lot of stamina to stay on the path. And so it's really nice to have another and a new Reiki buddy that I can talk to about all the magic. So turning the tables a little bit in this podcast in regards to having that open conversation with you, having that dialogue of sharing our stories, sharing our journey, and then hopefully on that conversation, just demystifying the world of Reiki, answering some of the questions for you guys listening today that we get asked again and again, and sharing our lens, our point of view in terms of our experiences, and for Hannah to share this incredible journey with you all.
Oh, thank you. That's lovely. You've always been great at reflecting back to me and allowing me to witness myself, which is a lot at times, but so beautiful. So thank you. Yeah, so this isn't me interviewing Nieve or Nieve interviewing. This is a two-way dialogue of both of us asking each other questions and hopefully answering things that you guys might want to hear, because we know a lot of people are curious. That's the right word, isn't it? Curious about Reiki, because especially since I have trained in it, a lot of my circle and my friends are like, Hannah's done it. Hannah's normal. So, I do get asked a lot about it. And I think, as you mentioned, my journey's been, it has been amazing. It's been hard at times. It's been full of twists and turns. But I think everyone can see that from the outside. And everyone's a bit like, I want a bit of that in my life. And I'm like, well, you've got to do the work. But also Reiki has been such a huge part of helping me with it. And obviously I do believe that I'm was always meant to find Reiki, not just for my personal healing, but obviously now I've trained to be a Reiki master, and we'll talk more about that, because not everyone does go to all the way to master, which is obviously totally cool. So I've got a bit of a piece of paper here, because me and Nieve could talk for hours, so we're going to try and stay on the conversation. So I don't know, do you think should we start with what is Reiki? Like, what is Reiki?
What is Reiki? I think when I first sort of started in this industry, I felt so passionate about normalizing energy work, which is what Reiki sits under, and demystifying this idea of energy work and the way that we can work with our energy bodies. But my one-liner, whenever I work with anyone and they're asking about what is it you do, like what can I expect, my one-liner will always be, I'm going to be optimizing your energy. I'm going to be working with your energy body, this vibration, this frequency that we all hold. And as soon as I start talking to my audiences or my clients about this energy that we hold, this frequency, they get it, because we all feel that vibe as soon as we meet someone. We feel if the vibe is off very quickly. If people are saying the right things, the body language is right, but vibrationally something's off. Some of us will be more sensitive to that than others, and our BS radar will be very high if we're able to read energy quickly. But this frequency that we hold, this vibration that courses through us, we interact with one another, this vibe that we're exchanging, and so much impacts our frequency. Our thoughts very much impact our frequency, our environments, the people we surround ourselves with. And what Reiki does is it works with your emotional body, your physical body, your mental body, and your spiritual body. So all of these different parts of you will be operating with this frequency that courses through you. And Reiki helps to bring that energy, that frequency into balance. So it's a healing modality, very similar to acupuncture, where it is working with this energy that you hold, whether it is depleted, whether it is fragmented from moments of stress and anxiety, and it is literally just sort of blown up and fragmented in lots of different directions, and you're feeling scattered and you're feeling like you can't really access parts of yourself, or whether it is feeling dense and stagnant and stuck. This frequency that we hold as a Reiki practitioner, what Hannah and I are able to help with is helping the flow of this frequency that is coursing through you to move through you in a way that is balanced. If this energy that belongs to you has left your body, calling back those fragmented parts, and it's the way that we're trained is we have this ability to not only move and help bring flow to the energy that you hold. We're working with the frequency and the energy that is universal, that surrounds every one of us, that we're moving through, and we become this bridge, we become this channel where we can move energy through our body to the recipient and help that person receive this energy that is surrounding them, and then help bring their energy into balance as we are channeling energy through us to the recipient.
Amazing. Beautifully put, Nieve. Thank you so much. I think, yeah, amazing. I think the other thing I was going to add is, because I am from a very logical background, right? I used to work in banking. I didn't grow up in a spiritual family. And Reiki is sort of known as an energy, a spiritual modality, but there is actually, you know, as you did mention, science behind it, because we have this energy field. And I have been, you know, tested a few times by people being like, but how does it actually work? Like, really? And also, how can you send it distantly? Like, people roll their eyes at that.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But I guess I am someone that is incredibly intuitive. maybe I always have been, but I didn't know, and I've tapped way more into that now. So, but I'm also someone, based on, now I know on my human design and my intuitive type, that I like to back up what I know to be true.
Fair.
Just, yeah, that's sort of the way I am.
Intuition doesn't cut it. You need the facts, you need the data.
So intuition 100% cuts it for me personally. Like, I live my life every day based on my intuition. As you know, I have done some absolutely wild things off the back of an inner knowing that I cannot explain. So it's not so much me, but I guess if we want to make this accessible and as grounded and practical as possible, I've just tried to get a bit more clear on what people might understand from a science perspective. And as you said, energy is everywhere. Energy is all around us. That is quantum physics. That is scientists, there's so much research on how everything is energy. We are energy. This chair is made up of energy that we're sitting on. But the way I look at it is our human body is made up of all these little atoms, and these little atoms vibrate at such a quick frequency that you can't see it happening. But that all these atoms in our body individually vibrating forms one big energy field around us, which we call a biofield, which we call an aura. Even people that don't relate as any kind of spiritual, I don't know what an aura is. I feel like people have heard of the word aura anyway, but scientists, biofield. It's like an electromagnetic field around our bodies. And it's exactly what you said about, you go into a room, you meet someone, and there's a vibe. And as you said, you might know the vibe, but you might not listen to the vibe. You might not be in tune with that. You might think, yeah, this feels off, but I'm not going to do anything about it. It just depends where you're at. But so this biofield is all around us, and it's communicating with everyone around us, because as humans, the other part I want to kind of get across is we are all connected by this huge grid, this huge field of energy that runs through the world because of our biofields, because we are surrounded by these fields. And if anyone wants to read about this, there's an amazing book called The Celestine Prophecy that talks all around human energy fields and how so me and you sitting here in this chair right now, our energy fields are interacting. And if our energy, me and you are very good at managing our energy, so we'll probably have grounded ourselves this morning. We have tools in place, so my field isn't sucking and drawing energy from your field, because of my vibration is hopefully quite high, and you can feel that and I can feel yours. So when we meet someone and they might be going through something really tough and have a bit of a lower vibration, it's actually our energy field that's picking that up. If you leave that conversation and you're feeling a bit depleted and empty, you've kind of picked up on their energy. And if it's a bit lower vibration than yours and it's coming to your field, it might now feel a bit more stagnant, a bit more stuck, and you might feel a shift in your emotions. So the scientific side, for all of you out there that want to know, it is actually physics. We are surrounded by energy, and our fields, we're all connected by this gorgeous, huge, universal web of energy. It's why, for example, we're deeply connected to some people more than others, like maybe our parents. And I know one of my friends says that she knows when her mum's about to call her. It's kind of those things, she can feel it. We're connected to people around us. So, and also it's our heart. Our heart has an incredibly strong electromagnetic field. And I did a talk recently to a bunch of leaders, C-suites at a big bank, and I was talking about the nervous system and how for them as leaders showing up, it's important that they're regulated, because that ripples out to everyone around them. And if you're leading a team, that's important. And I had a bit of research from the Heart Math Institute, which has looked at the field of the heart, which is 60 times more powerful than the electromagnetic field of our brain. And it goes 3 feet out of our body. So when you're meeting someone, they're picking up on your nervous system, because your heart is projecting that 3 feet out of your body. And that's also the tip I use to say why self-care, energy work is not selfish, it's necessary, because you're actually, if your nervous system is regulated, which Reiki can help with, which we'll talk about, is someone else can pick up on that and it can help regulate them too. So I hope that satisfies you a little bit for the science people out there as well.
Every single cell holds a biofield of energy.
There we go.
And that is what we're working with, and that is what we're supporting.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about what Reiki can actually help with then. So we are made up of all these cells and we're vibrating. So, and we also have a flow of energy through our body, right? So the chakras, if you haven't heard of the chakras, there's 7 main energy centers that flow throughout our body. And when we go through things, so trauma, tough times, we can build, we can get blocks throughout our chakras, throughout our energy body. And Reiki can actually go through and ease these blocks and help the energy flow again. So I feel like that's important for people to understand how Reiki can actually help them.
Yeah. So this field of energy that is coursing through us, through our physical body, this field of energy that also surrounds our physical body, we have this highway of energy that's moving through us, that moves through the 7 sort of key chakras that live predominantly up our spine, up our meridian. And each of these chakras helps to move and process this frequency, this energy that is coursing through us. But as you said, as we move through life and we might experience stress, anxiety, trauma, there's almost like a ripple, or the way that field or that emotion impacts our physical body and our energy body means that sometimes that anxiety, that emotion, that situation, when it ripples through us, it can get stuck, and it can then, the more stuck these energies become, the more stagnant they become, and then the more stagnant they become, the more dense they become. And so then we have these dense pockets of energy in our energy field where this flow, this sort of highway of energy can't move through. So an example might be our throat chakra. If we are not openly communicating our desires, our beliefs, our values, and if we are, what I always explain to my clients is, if you are swallowing the words that your soul, your heart wants to express, wants to speak into the world, and you swallow them instead because you're not sure how those words will be received, or you feel like those words are going to hurt the other person, or you're not entirely sure of how your words will land, if you're not really sure you're ready to express those, all those words that you have swallowed, that energy that those words hold builds up around your throat. So we have this throat chakra, which is all about communication. It's all about speaking our truth. And the more we swallow these words, there is a build up of energy around our throat. And then it becomes even harder to speak our truth because of this dense, almost ball of energy that is blocking our throat chakra. So as an energy healer, what we would be able to do is we read these chakras, these different energy bodies, and see where dense energy may have built up, and release those words that have been stored in the throat, so that it becomes easier to speak your truth. And what I've seen with my clients is even their voice gets louder after a Reiki session. Like, not only are they able to just express unconditionally, without sort of curating their words, without worrying how they come across, and being really authentic with their words, like, they actually sound louder, they're more direct, they're more precise, they've got more clarity around what is it they want to express. So that's like one of the chakras that we might work with.
I think the throat is a great example, especially for women, actually, because I think we are sort of more conditioned to put the needs of others before our own. And I think that exactly what you were saying, a very simple example is saying yes when you mean no. And every time you do that, you are blocking your throat, or you are, causing a little tear in your biofield. That's an energy leak that we can talk about as well. But I think I did a lot of work on my throat chakra because I had worked in such a male environment for so long that I didn't feel comfortable expressing myself. And it's people pleasing as well. I think we can all relate to that in some way, not wanting to say something because that it might not be received well, or putting your needs above others can feel selfish. And I think the throat chakra is a great example of that. And I mean, the heart chakra can be, matters of the heart, so heartbreak and things like that. I literally went for a big heartbreak 3 years ago, and I honestly I rebuilt my heart chakra. It was broken, and which I know, but it's been actually a beautiful experience to witness how open my heart is. Like I put it back together even more open than before. So all these things we can learn from. But yeah, that's a great example, and we could go through the chakras, but that's probably for another episode.
And I think the other thing with Reiki is every practitioner that you may come across will have a different style, will have a different way of working, and some will be much more intuitive and share visions and share what they sort of see within your field. Other practitioners, you might feel more, you might feel the field of energy changing, course correcting, locking in, activating as you work with them. But it's interesting, like with part of my practice when I'm giving someone a session, when I'm reading their energy, is being able to see the tremors of how stress or heartbreak is stored in the body. And so when I'm working with clients that have moved through incredible heartbreak, where I can see how their heart has either been shattered or if it's betrayal, I'll literally be able to see, like, it feels like the back of their heart has been, stabbed, and then being able to see like how the impact, the tremors of those experiences has got locked within the heart space, and being able to see like these little vibrations, tremors around the walls of the heart, and how then different chambers within the heart lock down and close and become very dark, become very dense, and the heart then becomes very isolated. And it's there is so much that can be unlocked when we start working with Reiki and allowing this Reiki energy to fill with light, fill with love, these physical parts of our body and these emotional parts of our body that have really taken, life has kind of beaten them up. And it's beautiful that it's such an easy way to receive healing and support.
It's beautiful.
It's so simple.
But maybe that's why people don't believe something could be so beautiful and simple and healing at the same time. And on the heart, they say, don't they, that the bravest thing you can do in this world is to keep your heart open.
I was literally reading about that recently.
No matter what you've been through. And I try and live by that. An open heart is the most courageous thing you can give yourself.
I think loving is one of the bravest things a human can do.
When it's exposing.
Exactly that. I think when you choose to move from love, you are taking all your clothes off and just getting emotionally, physically, mentally naked with the other person. So vulnerability is huge. But I think to love others is so incredibly brave, especially if you know how fragile the heart can be, and especially if you've experienced how broken and painful the heart, the depths of what it can feel.
I don't think anyone goes through life escaping that, whether it's a heartbreak romantically, whether it's a heartbreak from a family member or something, a job, like anything that was important to you. I don't think anyone goes through life without experiencing a heartbreak. So having a tool like Reiki to manage that can be really game changing, I think. Because I think what I was feeling when you were saying that was the journey with yourself, how what Reiki has done for me especially is, not only open up my channels, but it's connected me to myself. So I know that whatever happens, because life is full of ups and downs, we're not here for it to be all roses. Earth school is hard.
You do not get a free pass. No one does.
But I think the most powerful thing for me has been knowing that whatever happens, I will be okay, because I have me. I understand myself, and I have now, ways to access my intuition, and I know what's right for me more than anyone else does. And I think Reiki has been a huge part of that, huge part So let's talk about the things that Reiki can actually do for you then. So we've got the things like it can help remove emotional blockages, and we've all got them because we're, as we just said, Earth School is hard. We all move through things in the world, and I guess the older you get, the more you're going to likely have picked up. So there's, it can help with your healing. So things you might have experienced as a child that are stored in your energy body and your physical body too. Reiki can help smooth those out, help you heal. It can help with stress and anxiety. It can help with burnout for all these reasons, which I think Reiki is the tool I wish I'd had access to back when I was a trader in the city, because I don't think I would have burnt out the way I did. It can help with sleep. It can help with often people are like, that's the best night's sleep I ever had after a Reiki session, and I'm like, yeah, I know. It can actually help with physical ailments, right? If people have got an injury, I actually know someone that said, I tried everything. I had physio, I had all these things, and it was getting better, but it wasn't gone. Had one Reiki session and it was gone.
Like what Reiki does is it activates the body's ability. It speeds up the body's ability to self-heal. So if a lot of dancers receive Reiki when joints, for joints and bruising, and so it speeds up the body's natural ability to heal. So like people that have had like physical pains in their body before a session with me, afterwards will just and these are people I've worked with for a long time, and every time they're just like, Nieve, how
it's gone.
How does this happen? I don't feel that pain in my foot or in my stomach, and like this pain. And also sometimes it will unlock and release and reveal pain that you haven't even realized that you have been living with, because it's become your new normal, this pain. And so once that pain has been removed, the lightness that is received from that person, it's massive.
So it can help physical ailments as well. So stress, burnout, anxiety, sleep.
But on the sleep, it's not just you're having a good night's sleep. These are people that haven't been sleeping. Like the amount of people that I work with are like, Nieve, I don't sleep. I don't sleep. I haven't been sleeping, and I slept for the first time last night.
Through the night,
and I had deep sleep, and they've got all the tools, the aura rings, and all the tools to be able to show them the depth of the sleep that they've received. So, and we all know what it's like to be operating with no sleep.
Yeah, sleep is one of the most important things you can do for yourself, isn't it? And it can also help you move through things like grief, which for me when I do a session like that is so rewarding. Like just getting to see that someone is able to feel even a little bit better. And
well, just on grief, I think with so many of the things you've talked about, when we don't have the tools to know how to navigate them, whether it's grief, whether it's heartache, our survival kicks in, and what happens is we detach from the heartbreak because it's so extreme. We detach from the stress, from the anxiety, from the grief, and we abandon our body, we abandon ourselves. And what happens then is we don't feel what our desires are, we don't feel what our needs are, and we don't hear the whispers and the nudges of our intuition that would normally guide us, because we're so disconnected from self. And so with these Reiki sessions that you and I both offer, is we're creating a safe space for our clients to be able to release these incredibly huge waves of energy, emotions, grief, sadness, to leave the body in a way that feels safe. So we're creating that container to process these really big emotions, really big feelings.
Yeah, they are really big, but Reiki also feels gentle. That's what a lot of my clients have said, is like, and I often, and myself having had Reiki, I have it every 3 weeks now as well, but is sometimes people can't explain the feeling, and I kind of I love that, because I've been working with a lady recently, and she knows I'm just going to mention this. She said, like, thank you for introducing Reiki to me, because I feel like a different person already. And she's like, I can't really put my finger on why, but I feel lighter, I feel happier, I feel like she actually said, I feel like I can stand up for myself more. And she said, I feel like I'm on a journey now. And she was not a spiritual person. She was very much like, I'll try anything. And the other thing that, we're working with is fertility, which is another thing that Reiki can really help with. Because again, like stagnant stack energy in maybe your sacral chakra and things like that, which is where your womb is.
And the
that's
throat
beautiful.
And the womb are so connected. Mm-hmm. So when I work with clients to support them with fertility and they've, again, like this is a client that I can't remember if I talked about her on the last podcast with you, but she hadn't had a period for 17 years. She'd worked with every doctor going, she wanted to freeze her eggs, and I gave her a distant healing session, and she got her period the next month.
Oh, that's so amazing.
The next month. And I'd given her a lot of energy homework, which I always do. I always give a lot of guidance and coaching around how I want my client to look after their energy outside of the session. And then I gave her maybe 6 months later, I gave her another energy healing session. And within 2 weeks, she was pregnant.
That's amazing.
And it's amazing. But we worked a lot on the throat. Right, because the throat and the womb are so connected. And she's so sweet, and she's really happy for me to share all this. She's like, Nieve, it's my little Reiki baby.
Oh, that's
my little miracle baby.
Yeah.
And I've worked with so many other people on fertility and pregnancy, and because this stagnant energy that is blocking our life force from coursing through us, Reiki can support with.
Yeah, and I think, again, it's all also linked to your nervous system, isn't it? For me, that's been a huge part of the journey, is nervous system regulation. Because I want to do big things, but I can't do big things if my nervous system doesn't feel safe doing big things. And that was one of the things you really helped me with during the Reiki sessions and the mentorship, was, helping me step into my power. And for people that are listening that are like, that sounds good, I want to step into my power more, that is something Reiki can, I think, really helps with. And again, I just want to caveat, this doesn't mean you need one session and it's done. It's often one session, as you said, like sometimes one session can be incredibly powerful. It's totally dependent on what it's for. But I think when we are able to see Reiki as a journey, it can really be the most incredible journey. So if you're kind of ready for that and you want to commit to a regular session, I think the changes you can see over a period of time are incredible. But I would caveat with that is it also can feel hard, because Reiki brings you back to your authentic self, and a lot of the time people aren't living as their authentic self. So you might find that you're suddenly like, I don't want to be in this job anymore, I don't think this relationship is right for me. And whether you act on those things are up to you, but the more you do this kind of Reiki and this clearing and coming back to who you are deep within your soul, which I think is the greatest privilege in this world, by the way, the more that things might change around you, because what changes inside you changes outside of you too. So for me, that, was it hard? I don't know if hard was the right word, because it felt so right, but it was wild. So yeah, I sort of want to caveat that with, but it's the most amazing thing, because you're actually then going on a journey that is truly meant for you, that feels so right, but it is going to require some change.
It's transformation, it's growth, it's expansion. And I think, to your point, it's, we look so much at our self-care, and we look so much at how we look after our body. And what energy does is it looks after the energy our body holds. And that can be a one-off session, and huge transformations take place from that. But what I find with the clients that I've been working with now for years and regularly is the transformation is huge, because what Reiki does is it gives you solid footing beneath your feet, grounding, so that you can make changes, make decisions from a place of feeling incredibly grounded, incredibly rooted to yourself, to your knowing. And so when we're trying to navigate life from a place where we're not grounded, that we can do that. That's fine, but it's not easy. Whereas we can make really bold changes when we have solid footing beneath our feet, when we are grounded. And so that, coupled with Reiki being able to wake you up in terms of being able to see what's working and what is not working, in terms of what's supporting your energy, your frequency, means that you can, just be like, the person that I thought I was incredibly in love with is not my person.
Which can feel disorienting as well.
So disorientating. And I think when those aha moments come in, or the job that has given us such validation, the job that has given us so much, has been built into so much of our identity, to then realize it doesn't fit. It's not working. And I don't know what the answer is, but this isn't it.
I had that. That's exactly the experience I had.
What Reiki does is it kind of, it removes any brain fog. So anything that doesn't feel in alignment, it will give you that clarity, because your intuition that is trying to communicate with you all the time gets louder, because you've made space for that connection to self, which is where our intuition lives. Well, thinking about it though, I actually quit the job before I'd started having regular Reiki.
You did. But I had done loads of work. I had I was connecting to my intuition, and it was such an inner knowing. I didn't know what was coming next. I didn't know. I actually had no idea. It was huge, the biggest decision I've ever made in my entire life. But it was only 15 months ago. Wow. It feels like so long ago.
Wow.
But a lot of people say to me like how did you do that, and how are you, like, what's going on now, like what are you doing then? And I've got really comfortable with saying I don't have to have it all figured out. I am committed to living an intuitive life, which actually isn't about knowing psychically all these things that are coming. That can be a great part of it, but for me, living intuitively is living every day by my intuition. So like the little tiny things, the little nudges that I get every day, I follow.
The little whispers.
And I have followed them, because we all get them. And as you said, sometimes we can't hear them because, we aren't grounded, or we haven't cleared out our channel or whatnot. But they feel hella crazy at times.
I've got some questions for you.
Okay.
So you've been on this journey for 18 months? No, you left your job 18 months ago.
I left the job 15 months ago, but that job was chill. It wasn't the really stressful job.
Okay.
So the journey's been for years. But yes, I quit everything I knew to do with finance, career-wise, 15 months ago.
15 months ago. And 15 months later, you are now an energy healer. You are someone that helps support the energy of others and your community. Sort of going back to the beginning of that journey and you learning Reiki yourself, can you remember and can you pinpoint how it felt when you had that aha moment that you could, one, consciously connect to this highway of energy that courses through you, and that you, through the skills that you were learning, were able to change and shift and alter your energy? Can you remember that first aha moment of, I'm connecting to my energy and I'm changing it and I'm consciously connecting to it? I'm not just aware of it.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Reiki level 1 when firstly, I had zero intention of becoming a Reiki master.
Me too, Hannah. Me too.
Like, honestly, none. I just knew last summer that I was getting into energy because I was connected to my intuition. And I now I know what I was doing was following little nudges, but I didn't necessarily know where they were leading. And last summer, I was kind of, my intuition shows up for me with dropping just downloads. I just know things. I just know what I need to do. I'm like, or the universe will send me something 3 times and I'm like, I need to listen to that. I need more of that in my life. Or I'll meditate and I'll just hear, see, just know. And last summer I was thinking, I'd had Reiki sessions, not with you at this point, but I was like, Reiki will help me manage my own energy a bit more. Maybe I should look into like Reiki level 1. Then I went to Well Energy Festival where you were doing a talk, and I just was like, again, it was a nudge. It was, you need to meet this woman.
This is 2024.
2024, you need to meet this woman. And I was like, cool, I've got a podcast. Great way to meet people. So I asked you to come on the podcast. And I always remember your reply was, I don't do podcasts, but I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And actually, before I even asked you on the podcast, this was the biggest synchronicity, was I knew I was a big fan of She's Lost Control on Broadway Market, Hackney.
Love as She's Lost Control.
You know.
Amazing.
And I looked on their website because I knew they did Reiki trainings. There was a Reiki level 1 coming up, and it was Nieve Tierney doing the training. I actually at this point had no idea that you were going to be the Reiki trainer. So when I saw that, I was like, this is a sign, because I think I was like just about to ask you to come on my podcast. I was like, I definitely need to ask her to come on the podcast. This is a sign. Anyway, told you that, and you were like, yeah, I'm doing the Reiki training. So I was like, cool, I'm doing level 1. Just want to learn about me and my energy, which level 1 is all about how you manage your own frequency, isn't it? Not necessarily other people's. So met you, we started doing some sessions, and the training was in the November. On the training, when you first learn to connect to Reiki, and but bearing in mind I had done quite a lot of work, healing, so I'd done a lot of work on my body. I'd tried everything from breath work to all the stuff, so I do think I was in quite a good place to do Reiki level 1 anyway and feel a lot, but when you connect to Reiki for the first time and you actually feel it coming through your crown into your heart and out your hands, which might sound wild to you guys right now, but and everyone on the training, you can see people, because it's good, and even it's going to work, but you're like, oh no, but it actually works.
I know.
And that was incredible. And I remember coming away from Reiki level 1 and really committed to the 21-day cleanse that you have to do at the end. You don't have to, it's a choice. Yeah. But obviously, what I'm like. I was like, 21 days, no caffeine, no alcohol, only healthy foods, no sugars. And I gave myself Reiki every single day. And lots of things happened during those 3 weeks. And it just was amazing. I was just like, I have access to this. I can do this for myself. How amazing is that? And you can practice on friends and family. And when I was also doing that, I remember giving a friend a session just from Reiki level 1, and the heat that came through my body.
That's what I was going to say. How do you feel Reiki when it's moving through you? So you talked about how it moves through your crown, it moves down to your heart and down to your hands, and you can feel. So are you, because for everyone it's different. Different. Are you feeling energy moving through you, like this highway of energy? You talked a little bit about heat.
There's a few clients, I think it depends on their energy as well, because it doesn't always come through as heat, but when I do it to myself, I am on fire. And a lot of clients mine does come through as heat or tingles. And now I've obviously done level 2 and master, but master for me is huge change. The symbol that you use in master, I feel like I actually feel the energy come through me like light. It's like gold, it's like light. I see it's so powerful and so strong, and I use it all the time.
Does it feel like a current of energy? Like how
it feels more like a wave than a current. It feels more like a slow wave of the sea, like that. And heat it comes through me as heat. When I give it Reiki to people, it's heat. And working, so I did level 1 and I thought, oh, that was really cool, I'm going to do level 2, just stop at level 2. Did level 2, set myself up as a practitioner. Level 2 was amazing because you get even more symbols, you learn how to send it distantly. And again, I was like, I'm just going to do it there, like that's cool. Didn't think about master, set myself up as a practitioner, because you can obviously set yourself up after level 2.
We go through all of that.
And again, one thing Reiki did for me, and it's different for everyone, was open my intuition even more, to the point where I can feel the universe talking to me. I know what I need to do. I have such a connection to myself. I feel so solid, so grounded, so safe. And I remember I kept meditating and I just kept hearing, you need to do Reiki Master. You need to do Reiki Master. And I was like, no, I've only just done level 2. And then, and I knew you didn't teach Master, but obviously the universe brought me Alice, who was my You
told you about Alice?
Introduced me to Alice a while ago, because I just wanted a certain crystal. So she was put in my path a while ago. And And we had each other on Instagram, and yeah, I just knew. So what I remember thinking, all right, fine, let me look into it. I just felt Alice. So I looked at her. I said, if Alice is doing a Reiki master training this year, that's a sign for me to do it. I logged onto Alice's website, and she was doing one in May. And I messaged her, and she said to me, I have just put that up, and when I clicked submit on my website, you popped into my head, Hannah. And I just thought, oh, wow, okay, I meant to do this. And at this point, I just had to trust. I was like, this is quick. Like, you know, this is quick. But it was also just so right. And I did Reiki Master. And it's changed more. Again, like I feel like there's another level. And I trust myself more. And I think I had to come out of the spiritual closet completely. Yeah. Which I think has been part of my journey. Yeah. And I think now I'm okay with that. I feel so good. I feel so grateful. I feel like this is meant to be a big part of my path. I think I'm here to make Reiki more accessible to people, to everyone, not just people that are into it, or just not, you know, people that associate with being spiritual, to everyone. And I have such huge visions of where Reiki, like how this world will change.
Yeah. And I think because my journey was also very quick. Yeah. Like incredibly quick. And I think because of that, I've worked with so many students and mentees that have had a similar journey, and it can be incredibly overwhelming to be receiving so much information, intuition, details, and so that's why I think we gravitated towards each other, so that I could share the learnings of what the things that I'd worked out that worked for me, so that you can maybe avoid some of the things that didn't work, but when you're moving through that journey so quickly, and I think we live in a world where we think the longer that I have done something, the more weight and the more prestige and the more credibility I have within the industry. And I'm telling you now, I have had students that have the most amazing connection to this life force energy, to Reiki, and have given me sessions when I'm like helping them and you know, training them, than practitioners that have been doing it for decades. Their sessions in the training, they haven't even become like full-on practitioners yet, have been incredible. So it's there's no credibility when it comes to how long you've been doing it, but what you do learn over time is how to hold space for someone. You really learn how to hold space for yourself. But in terms of actually accessing this life force energy that surrounds us, you know, what you've experienced is you access that very quickly, and you've been honing your practice and working with your clients and sharing those skills. When you left your job 15 months ago and you were in this place, so you hadn't discovered Reiki yet, you knew that you'd outgrown your job, you knew it didn't fit anymore, you knew you had to leave, but you didn't have the answers as to where you were going to go. Is there anything that you would say to that Hannah from 15 months ago, knowing what you know now and all the twists and all the turns that you have been on? Is there anything that you would want that Hannah to know or to share with her? Do you want some tissues?
Yeah, I'm gonna cry. Do you know what? I think I would actually just say to her that I was so proud, because I did, because we don't live in a world that's set up to trust yourself. When everything around you is telling you you're crazy to leave, you're very well paid, because I'm not afraid to say I was very well paid, I was very comfortable, and I had moved into this job where it was also chill. I got to write research, it was down the road from my flat, the people were lovely, as opposed to when I was in a bank before and it was very chaotic and stressful. I had changed from that environment, and I was very comfortable, but I was too comfortable. I was bored. My soul was like, girl, we are done here. And I do think it's different for everyone, but I was not meant to stay there. And it was such a strong feeling. I was frustrated. I was like, I'm getting out of bed and going to this every day. Is this what my life's going to be? And I just had
felt like something was missing.
Something was missing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not meant to just write research papers for the rest of my life. I knew I'd been on this big healing journey, and I was like, I want to help people. Not at the sacrifice of myself anymore, but I want to help people. And I just had such a knowing. I felt safe.
Yeah.
I felt grounded. I was like, I didn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you know that you're going to be okay. I didn't even tell my parents until I was about to do it, because I just wanted to, I was so sure, and I didn't want the outside noise. And I think anyone that's listening, and I've had so many messages on Instagram from people saying, I'm going to quit my job because, I listen to your podcast. And I love that, because no one quits their job without, trusting themselves. So it means that they trust themselves. But I would just tell her, I'm so proud of you for actually doing it, because we aren't always supposed to know the outcome. And I think what I did was embrace uncertainty and shift into seeing it as an adventure, and that was a complete game changer. The other thing I'm really proud of her for doing is for having space, is for letting herself rest, is for letting the answers unfold, not needing to know what exactly was happening. And obviously there was a lot of people around me that were like, what are you going to do? Like, I lived on my own, I have a mortgage, I didn't have a partner, but I was like, I'm supported, because I had built this connection with whatever you want to call it. I call it the universe. I had built a connection with the universe. I had been getting many signs that this is what I need to do, and I had built that connection. I'd asked for signs. I felt supported. And that summer, so I quit in March, I went away for a month, I came back, and the steps started slowly unfolding. I had said, I want to do more public speaking. The universe was like, yeah, you do. Here you go, have a talk. And then I was getting all these signs to do, because I love psychology, and I wanted to blend business with psychology and spirituality, science and soul, I now call it. And last summer, I was started to be like, what do I want to do? I don't really want to go back to uni now. I don't want to go back to uni. Then I started seeing all these things around organisational psychology, and I was like, that feels like something I'd want to do. And then my best friend went to a wedding, and she was at a wedding one weekend. We'd spoke when she got back, and I said, I've heard of this thing called organisational psychology. It's a master's that sort of blends all the stuff I've learned from business into psychology. And she went, so weird. I was just at a wedding sitting next to a girl that's an organisational psychologist in London. Never heard of it before. And actually I said to her, you should meet my friend Hannah. And I was like, thank you, universe. Anyway, I've done a master's, have a nice day. But I would just say I'm proud of her for being courageous, for actually choosing a life that I'm excited to wake up to. And I really believe this is where I'm supposed to be. But I also think I would tell her it's okay not to know. And I know that can feel hard, and it requires, oh my God, so much trust. And don't get me wrong, I do get frustrated sometimes. I'm like, if you want me to do this thing, you need to make me feel safe. Yeah. But we're not supposed to know. And this is going to sound cringe to some people, but it's really not about the destination. It is about the journey. Because if you can go through life seeing it as a journey, you're going to be able to be, in it. You're going to be able to be happy. You're going to enjoy the things day by day. If you're always like, I'll be happy when, ... you'll never be happy.
Absolutely. And we don't read a book to just jump to the final chapter and find out what's going to happen. We read the book for the journey. Yeah. We read the book for the twists and turns. But when you were talking about not knowing so much about what lies ahead of you, I talk a lot about those moments when we are asked to dance in the dark, when we're asked to literally take a leap of faith into the abyss, into the void, and trust that we'll land on something solid on the other side.
I'm constantly doing that.
And something we've talked a lot about in the mentorship is it is by design that this is happening in the dark, because we then lean outside of our outer world to give us the answers, and we lean instead into our inner world when we don't have visually a really clear understanding of what the next step is. When we stop asking the world or the people around us, like, what should I do? We then start asking ourselves, and we start tapping into that intuition. And that muscle of intuition, of knowing, is it my intuition or is it my ego? Like really being able to discern what that next choice is, what that next step is. That skill set can only strengthen in the dark. It can't happen when we know every single step. There is no challenge. There is no need to sort of lean into those inner whispers that our intuition is telling us. So when you start that journey of learning how to dance in the dark and just surrendering, like, I'm gonna leap, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna pirouette into this void,
I'm gonna jump into the ravine,
and I'm just gonna trust that I'm gonna be held, that I'm gonna be supported, that magically the right people, the right conversations, the right situations will land on my lap, which has very much been your journey.
Oh my goodness, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. She's sitting in the chair opposite me right now.
Every time though.
Every time. And I've had mentors before you. They were brought to me too. I think I'm going to mentor people. Like, it's, and I actually, one thing I would say, I get asked this a lot, mentors have been incredibly powerful for me, and I would advise anyone. And I feel like they're an organic thing. I don't necessarily think you have to go out looking for them, but that's just been my journey. But
I would say the same. I always know when I'm going to mentor someone. Like, I'll be in the session sitting there
and you're like,
and I'm like, they're going to ask me to mentor them. And so for me, when I mentor people, it's a program that I'm helping you like move through really key steps to unlock various parts of your journey, whether it's your intuition, whether and so it's not just a cup of coffee and being like, so where are you at? What's
I can confirm
what's
it's
alive
more than that
for you? And you know, what's the destination? It is activations.
Yeah, and what's going on for you right now? There's so much of this living in the future, which is just anxiety. I see it in so many people, and I think one thing people find wild about me is they're like, you're just able to live in the now. And I'm like, yeah, it's been a process, but Reiki has really helped me with that, and that's why I give myself Reiki most days. And I, you know, we have, there's lots of amazing Reiki practitioners that we can all use, but Reiki is a part of my self-care journey, like my routine. It is actually non-negotiable for me now, even if I feel great. A lot of the time I just know that, oh, Reiki session would be good right now. So yeah, for people listening, Reiki can be what you need it to be. It doesn't have to be this huge journey like it has been for me or you. It can be part of your, you know, you could be an athlete. That's where I see Reiki going as well, by the way.
Into I work
sports.
with Olympians, athletes.
But more known, you know, like as in like, of course the first team Manchester United have a Reiki healer, you know, like I see it being, and you know, maybe
I've
before
had those conversations.
Before
it's happening.
Yeah. So yeah. Maybe before we round up then, like, where do we see Reiki going? Like, you've obviously probably seen it change a lot over the last few years you've been doing it.
Oh my goodness, Hannah. So in half a decade that I've been offering Reiki, which doesn't feel like a long time, but within that space, when I started out, it was very much, I mean, there still is a need for the educational part of explaining like, what is Reiki, what are the benefits, why would I bother, how does it apply to me in my life? There is still that educational piece that's needed because it's still quite unknown and unique and novel. But there is, you touched on this earlier, there is such a curiosity, and there was 5 years ago and there is now, on how we can better ourselves. And I think when we think about longevity and how we can optimize our lives, there's such a curiosity about how we do that differently, and there's such an appetite to look after this energy, this frequency that we hold, but people don't necessarily know, one, how to consciously connect to this frequency that we have, that we only really think about when we don't have it, when we're depleted, when we don't have the energy to make that phone call or to get out of bed. Those are the times that we tend to think about our energy, and I would say still that a lot of the time my clients come to me will be moments of crisis. They've tried everything and
Yeah, and Reiki can be used to not get to those moments of
Yeah.
crisis. That's what I use it for now. Like,
Yeah.
I trust that I'll never get there again because I've got Reiki.
Or that you'll have the tools to be able to navigate
Yeah.
those twists and turns.
And those tools have been, you know, they're from my intuition knows now, because I've cleared out my inner body. I hear my voice, I hear my inner knowing. And I think that is probably the most powerful gift Reiki's ever given me.
I love that.
And I do think that, you know, you said people want to feel better now. We've had a mental health epidemic. Like, it's
green juice ain't gonna cut it.
No, I think we all realise avocado on toast and a green juice isn't working. So I think people are starting to be like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. What can I do? And the other thing I really wanted to make sure I mentioned was, for me, and I know for a lot of other people, Reiki's been the final piece of the puzzle.
Really?
Reiki has been, I would say, the final piece of the puzzle in a journey where, and I know a lot of people have said this to me too, talking therapy is amazing, huge, amazing.
Definitely.
But for me, I was very self-aware. I knew my patterns, I just couldn't shift them. I knew what they were. They were embedded in my subconscious.
They were locked, they were looping.
They were locked and the looping in my field, in my subconscious, in my nervous system. And Reiki was the only thing that was able to gently, over time, release them from me. I look back, I can name my past patterns. I was a saviour. I used to try and save everyone at the expense of myself. I was way more in my masculine energy. I'm now much more in my feminine energy. I trust myself. I see things from my childhood that were said to me that's flattened my, you know, my confidence. I see it all. I can look back over my life and know the journey. I can see the patterns, and I'm sure there's going to be more forever. I'm not saying I'm done. Yeah. But Reiki was the only thing that was able to release that out of my energetic body.
And so quickly.
And I felt lighter. I'm able to move forward now. Like, you know, if I get an inner knowing I need to go to some crazy place on my own, I will go, because we need to pick up energy from places. And
But clients say this to me all the time. They're like, Nieve, that was like 6 months worth of therapy in one session. It is,
and it's not about bashing therapy in any way. And I've just now done a master's in positive psychology, which is all around taking you, like, psychology norm. And therapy takes you from distress to functioning. I'm all about functioning to thriving.
Yeah, I love that.
And flourishing.
I think they actually work in tandem really well together.
Yeah, complementary.
They're very complementary.
Reiki
and
therapy.
I think to your question before of like, what is the landscape of energy healing and Reiki, and where do I sort of see that going, and where it's come from, and where that's going now, is we're very mission aligned, you and I. I think we have talked a lot about how to normalize energy work, and for me, I'm really thinking about that maintenance piece, like those energy check-ins. Like, how can people start supporting their energy and regulating their energy from a place of removing those stuck emotions, stresses and anxieties that get locked in our frequency.
And that could have been locked in your frequency since you were a child, right?
Yeah, decades worth of energy being stored, that heaviness that we feel on our shoulders, on our chest. And so I think one-on-one healing is amazing, but as someone in this industry, I've been really thinking about how can I work with people and how can I make energy healing more accessible. And so, yeah, I think we were talking about one-on-ones, amazing. They're very targeted, but I've created something called Energy Tank, which is basically your monthly energy check-in to release anything that feels stuck, anything that feels stagnant, but then to optimize your energy by receiving that energy boost. And so with those sorts of monthly energy check-ins, being out there in the world, I think that's going to help make energy work more accessible, going into schools and teaching people how to
from a young age understand this stuff,
understand how to access this energy field and support it. I think, you know, there's already meditation that's being introduced in schools, and mindfulness, and I'm talking to a friend that also goes in, like, we want to go into schools together. He wants to introduce breath work and breath work tools to relieve anxiety and stress, and I want to help give some education around being mindful of how you use your energy, who you give your energy to.
I want to do intuition.
And intuition.
I want kids to connect, know that they have this powerful
They are
force.
so intuitive.
They are even more intuitive, before they've been bogged down with all the conditioning.
With all the sort of logic
Yeah.
of, that doesn't make sense, or I shouldn't do that.
Trust yourself.
Yeah. So I think it's exciting. I think the appetite is growing of how we look after ourselves, and I think there are more and more case studies now of transformation that sort of lives within various different healing modalities. And I think, you know, for me, the reason Reiki is so great is because it is equally powerful but equally soft. There are certain healing modalities for me that just do not work because they're too aggressive.
Yeah, I know. I
almost.
thought that was what you were going to say. Yeah. Well, as in like conscious connected breath work or something, where you can have a really wild release.
Yeah. So, you know, I think I know a lot of amazing breathwork practitioners, and I've been on breathwork retreats, and they've been really great for real tough times. To really quickly release some of the emotions and energies that I was moving through. But as a daily practice, it's too strong for me. It's not for me. And it's the same, you know, Reiki might not be for everyone. But
and you've got to find the right practitioner and all that.
100%. Everyone will have a different style of same with hairdressers, same with yoga. We're all doing the same thing, but we'll all have our own different way of doing it. But I think it's the simplicity of Reiki that I think is so powerful.
And the fact that you can actually give it distantly. So it's much
we
more...
need to talk about
just
that.
quickly,
a
couple of minutes.
Because this is where the mind boggles.
Yes.
This is where, if I talk to friends and family, they're like, Nieve, I get it. I get energy, I get frequency.
I get why you can be touching my body.
But you lose me as soon as you talk about distant healing.
As soon as you turn on Zoom.
You've lost me.
Okay, so let's fire around then. How does distant Reiki work?
It goes back to what you were saying before. There is a web of energy that surrounds us, this energy that is coursing through us, this dance of energy that we're exchanging with all the time. It is the reason why, and you said it before, you will think of someone and they call you.
We're connected.
This web of energy is not based in a certain room. It is across time. It is across space. And it's sensory and it's intuitive.
And to add to that is, as a Reiki practitioner, you are trained with a symbol that connects space and time, or dissolves space and time actually. And that is what, I don't know, like it's an intention as well. Reiki is all intention. Probably should have mentioned that more actually, because I found that really powerful. My intention in a Reiki session is everything. But it's the intention to connect into this person's energy field using the symbol that we use in Reiki to connect. And I actually think that has blown my mind the most. I'm with the people that don't get it. I understand. I obviously get it now. But I think when I learned that in level 2, when we split across the room and we sent the other person distant Reiki, and I could feel what was going on with her.
That's my favourite part.
And then you confirm with them that you're feeling it. That was mind blowing. And every time I do a session now, I mean, I love it. I'm like, I'm in. When I connect in, I literally smile to myself. I'm like, I'm in. I'm in the field. I'm in the energy. And the fact that I have seen my clients, reactions to it, that, you know, the lady I was talking about earlier, where we did a first session in person, second session distantly, and I said to her, are you up for giving distant a go? Because you can do it at home then, and I can do it at home. And, you know, and she was like, I'll give it a go. She sat up after the session and she just said, I don't understand how that just happened. And I said, you just got to have, I think all you've got to have is an open mind and let yourself try it, and you'll see it for yourself. I think you can only, you've got to let people see it for themselves. And for them to do do that,
as soon as someone's felt it, they are converted. Amazing. They're like, book me in next week. I want this to be part of my practice, self-care practice.
And I did it for someone in Australia because I thought you can't get further away than that. I wanted to test myself as well, and I was like, this is a testimonial I want.
Cool.
And it was the most amazing testimonial, and for her it was so gorgeous. And you know, she says in her testimonial, I was openly skeptical when Hannah said, let's try it distantly. I'm in Australia, she's in London, you don't get further away. She said, but what followed was a profound experience. And she'd been going through grief, and she wrote this in her testimonial that's on my website. And she said, I have never experienced my spirit being held like that before.
That's
and she
beautiful.
said, it's allowed me, oh, I've got the shivers.
Yeah,
It's
me too. I
allowed
just
me
did.
to begin to start processing my grief. And I just
Yes.
thought, and it was a powerful session. I felt it, she felt it. And I just thought, you don't need any, like, there you go. That was so incredible. And I was so grateful that I could do that for someone. So
Yeah.
distant Reiki, we understand it's wild, but we are all connected by a web of energy that knows no space, no distance, no time. We are able to connect into your field and send the healing that way. And
Yeah.
it's like a Wi-Fi signal or a radio. You tune it in,
Yeah.
we are tuning into your
Yeah.
frequency. It's why you can send a text message and it pops up on someone's phone over the other side of the world.
Yeah.
It's just that we're not taught to think about it on a human level.
Yeah, and it's because of that connection to all things that you don't need to be in the same room to send someone energy. And the intention part is also important. So when we are consciously, intentionally sending energy, it changes the energy, it changes the frequency. And if you think about two different people singing a song, the energy that they place, the vibration that they're putting into those words, we will receive that song that's being sung so differently from the two different people because of their experiences that they're pouring their energy into those words when they're singing it. And we feel that energy when we're listening to music, but it's all of that intention that we are sharing when we're sending healing, and both parties are open to giving and receiving. So it's set up in a space where the person that's receiving healing is also open to receive that energy, to move through them, to course through them.
Yeah, the more open you are, the more you're going to be able
And I
to
have to
receive.
say, with distant sessions, I feel that sometimes my clients feel more than they do in person. And what I mean by feel more is that highway of energy that is coursing through them. Often my clients just be like, Nieve, I felt like I was levitating. I felt like parts of my body were like hovering. And yeah, the heat, the colors, the symbols that people are feeling, similarly, like all different parts of the world, through a distant healing session. And once they've experienced it, they're like, I don't know what just happened. I don't really know how to explain what I just experienced, but I can't deny the visceral, physical experience that I just had in this Reiki session.
And also on that, it's okay if you don't have that experience either, because I've had sessions where I don't feel much, but I just feel restful. And then I tend to notice over the next few days, I know it's the Reiki that's done it. Like I'll be clearer, I'll have more clarity. I might do something I wouldn't have had the confidence to do before. And I think that's what a lot of my clients are noticing. They're like, I'm just like more able to, stand up for myself. And Reiki, they don't, they eventually attribute it to the Reiki. So that's the gentle part of it.
That's the integration as well, like the aha moments that come in after Reiki is because your energy has shifted and locked into a new frequency, and it takes sometimes a bit of time for that new frequency to integrate and to become your new normal, and then those aha moments that come in afterwards.
Exactly right. I think we're running out of time. So just to recap, then one other thing I wanted to say is the reason I also want Reiki to become more, accessible and known and normalized is because this whole thing about, paying for Reiki, paying for energy work, you would pay to get your hair cut for over £100, but you wouldn't necessarily normalize paying over £100 to get your whole energy body reshifted.
For like huge transformations
to transform your entire life. But that's the kind of I think it's important to get that out there as well. Is like it's a really powerful modality for healing, for transformation, for just self-care, and I want to normalize that. Like you'd pay 150 quid for a massage in London. Reiki's the same.
Oh, absolutely. I think, there's so many unsung people out there, like that are teachers, that are nurses, that should be paid more, that are, helping our communities and helping us. And I think people that work in charities as well, there's sometimes like a lot of criticism around like, why are these directors getting paid a certain amount? It's like, why aren't they? They are the people that are molding and supporting our communities and making our world a better place.
Yeah.
Why are they not getting paid
more.
the same as you know, people that work in banking and all these other sort of high paid places? But yeah, it's part of your self-care, and I think the mindset around paying to optimize our health is changing. People are paying for therapy now. A lot more mindset coaches are also becoming more popular.
I think it comes back to like people learning that it's okay to fill up your own cup first. Like, that's been my whole journey, is learning to fill up my own cup first. That ripples out. People can feel my energy. Like, that is one of my biggest things, and that's why I started this podcast, although like 2 years ago. The tagline was fill up your own cup first.
Oh, I love that.
Because I see so many people running on empty. You can't give to others. You can't show up for others. You can't show up for your kids, your partner, your job, your colleagues, your friends, if you are depleted. And that's also one of the reasons that I use Reiki as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's done all these amazing things, and it can be whatever you need it to be. It doesn't have to be this huge journey. I have one more little announcement, that I am going to be teaching Reiki. I've decided.
I'm so excited to hear that.
And we haven't really had time to go through what you do in level 1, 2 and 3, but it wasn't about that. But yeah, that feels like something I'm supposed to do, that I want to share so everything I've learned I will be doing, starting with level 1 training in Q4, I think, this year.
It's happening.
So look out for that. And as Nieve mentioned, she has Energy Tank, which I have joined the first 2, and they have been incredible. Collective healing, activations, your energy top up, and we're going to be putting a code in for that. Yeah,
so this is basically your monthly energy activation. If you're curious about energy work and you want that taster to see what it's like, I've really designed something that feels accessible. It's £25. We're going to have a 15% off code for your audience. But it's just for those people that want to start having regular energy work as part of their self-care, to make sure that they are clearing those heavy energies that are weighing them down, that they do have that opportunity to optimize and boost their energy and their frequency. And the other thing about healing, I think, is people don't feel like they've got the time, that they've got the time to fit in a Reiki session or receive energy healing. And the thing is it gives you more time. Yeah. You're able to do more. The energy that you get afterwards in terms of filling up your cup, and like that's why I called Energy Tank is like fill up your tank, stop running on empty. You don't need to. And this is like your 1 hour to fill up your tank and to make sure that you're not running on empty.
Yeah, I love it. It's amazing. It's been wonderful. You've had great feedback as well, I know.
It's been amazing.
And, you know, the price point's really accessible, much more than a one-to-one session anyway.
Yeah.
So I think, that's really beautiful. And I am going to give you guys a code. If you would like a Reiki session with me, I'm going to give you a 10% off for August. So that will be in the show notes as well.
Beautiful.
If you're curious, if you want to explore, and as I said, I will be teaching Reiki. It's out there in the world now, and I am, being brave. It feels like the right thing.
I think it's amazing. I think you're going to be able to bring Reiki and normalize Reiki into communities that might not necessarily have even dreamt of doing anything like this. And so bringing it to your community, and then the ripple effect of everyone that you're going to teach Reiki to, and all the people that they're going to be able to give Reiki to, it's amazing. But it's been so beautiful to witness your journey and see all the different stages of you moving through this intuitive, beautiful, sort of spiritually led journey. And then for you to now announce that you're going to be teaching Reiki just feels so right. It feels so perfect. And it feels just so like this was always going to happen. This was always part of the plan. And there are so many people that are ready and wanting to do it. And I feel like I'm almost passing on the baton.
I feel like you are. Yeah.
I made the choice that I wanted to work out how to scale energy healing and put my energies into things like Energy Tank and going into schools and working out how to work with bigger and bigger audiences. But we still need teachers. We still need people to help with those more sort of targeted one-to-one communities. So I'm very proud.
Yay. Oh, thank you. And guys, I can honestly say I've learned from the best. And she's sitting here. So thank you for joining me. I feel like this was a conversation that we both knew needed to be out there in the world. And now we get to just be friends and Reiki buddies as well, which is amazing.
I know,
so,
I've got a new Reiki buddy. Like, that's just so fun to
beautiful.
talk about all the magic and all the different things that come up. And I feel that we always gravitate and magnetize people into our orbit that can support our journey. And I feel like that's what's happened here. 1 year later, looking back at everything that has taken place.
It's been so beautiful. I feel so grateful, so lucky. And again, don't know exactly where I'm going, but I'll get there day by day, following the nudges, following my intuition.
Dancing in the dark.
Dancing in the dark. I have huge ideas, visions, and it's just now about letting the universe co-create with me to bring them into life. So is there anything you'd like to leave the people with?
Well, I really just hope that this conversation has dispelled some of those sort of question marks around Reiki. I've got a feeling it might have brought up more questions for people.
Yeah.
But I just believe everyone should know about this energy stuff. It has been, I don't know what my life would look like if I didn't have Reiki. I just don't know if the same transformations would have taken place. Or if they did take place, if I'd have been able to move through them with as much confidence as I've had. And so I just really hope that this conversation has helped to dispel the world of energy work. And I hope it ignites a curiosity in some of the people listening to try energy healing, whether it's with Hannah for a one-to-one, whether you're curious and you want to join group work with the energy tank, or whether you've come across someone in your community and you're like, okay, I'm gonna try energy healing, because to regulate our vibration using this modality just raises the vibration of that community and makes the planet a better place. Honestly, I feel so cheesy when I talk about energy work, and I'm just like, younger me would just be like rolling her eyes at some of the things that I say now and just be like, Nieve, be cool. But it is cool, and that's the whole point, that energy work is cool, and I think everyone should be trying it.
Yes, I love that. I would just say, believe in yourself. Like, if you feel a knowing that you are curious and you do want to try it, let yourself try it, and you don't have to tell anyone. If you don't want to tell your partner you're going for a Reiki session, don't. But I think what I have learned is you know what's best for you more than anyone else, and when you start to tap into that, into your intuition, into your inner knowing, your life will change in ways you never thought possible. I never saw my life going this way. And if you're out there and you are a bit like, yeah, you know what, I know I'm not meant to be in this job, or I know I'm not meant to be in this city or relationship, I know it feels hard, but if you can have the courage to start this bit of journey, and maybe Reiki is the start of it, it might just unlock some stuff inside you, or confidence, or more inner knowings, but you are the most important person in your life. And if you're curious, I would love to connect, or give you a session. You can always slide into the DMs. But I hope we've demystified some of the Reiki talk and myths and stuff that are out there, and it was a pleasure. So yay, thank you so much for joining me, Nieve.
Thank you so much for asking me. It's just really fun to be able to have these conversations openly, because I feel like often they're behind closed doors, or people want to know and have these conversations, but they don't know who to talk to. And here's a couple of girlies that weren't in this world. I wasn't in this world 3 years ago, you 5 years ago. So you never know when things can change, and when you follow what's meant for you, it will feel right. I'm not saying it will always feel easy. It might feel crazy, but it will feel right. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.